Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's the Casual Cube. Gonna give you a quick kind of a budget brew mono black deck. Week one, I played mono black burn. It was kind of like a budget burn deck by Dev from Strictly Better Magic. If you check out his YouTube channel, he has a mono black burn deck. But that was in the previous rotation, and I decided to take it in week one. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad deck. I actually went against two really strong decks in the first two rounds, so I'm not going to put it against it. I went against Jeskai Control and Boros Aggro, and then I got the bye in the third round, and then I just forfeited the last game or the last round because the person would have gotten an extra booster pack. I would have gone 2-2, and that just would have been the same. So, but I digress. And week two I was playing mono red. Week three is today, FNM week 3. And I'm deciding to change up the mono black deck, and I'm going to play a mono black Gruesome Menagerie deck. So if you don't know what Gruesome Menagerie is, it is a 5-mana sorcery. So it's essentially a play one card, and you can cast 3 creatures, or play 3 creatures from your graveyard. So it's choose a creature card with converted mana cost 1 in your graveyard, then do the same for creature cards with converted mana cost 2 and 3. Return those cards to the battlefield. They don't come in tapped. So, it's kind of designed towards building up the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s, and then once you get board wiped by all these crazy board wipes that I've been seeing, from Jeskai Control, the deal 3 damage to everything, and then, or even, cleansing Novas, I mean, there's a lot of board wipes, Ritual of Suits, so you can easily refill the board, and, you can chump block along the way if you need to. But here is the deck. It is a kind of a budget brew. It's not really designed to be like, top tier deck, I don't think. I'm just playing it for FNM. But we'll start off with Pilfering Imps. I decided to go with 4 Pilfering Imps because, I do really like Vicious Conquistador, and I do have a 4th copy of Vicious Conquistador. It's just, I think this is going to be more applicable in game 1 if I go against Control. Because also it's choose a non-land card, which is really nice in the sense that, yeah, it is a 1/1 flyer. It's not doing much in the early game. It's pecking in for damage, 1, 2, 3 damage. But then, once they have that last card in hand, you can sacrifice it, maybe take some of use. And it's also, you can use it for creature cards as well, which I really like. Maybe steal or discard a Lyra Dawnbringer. That'd be pretty nice. So I got 4 of those. And also, if you do recur it from the graveyard, it's, you can sacrifice it again and then cause them to discard another card from their hand. Here's 3 Vicious Conquistadors. So we're playing with 7 1-drops. And then we're also playing with 2 Fungal Infections because I think this card is actually really relevant in the meta right now. There's a lot of X1s, the Viashino Pyromancers, the Branch Walkers. When it's on the stack, you can use this. Or you can just use it as a combat trick. Someone's coming at you with a 2/2 bear, hit him with this, and then block with that 1/1. So I think it's it's definitely good in the meta. I'm only going to be playing 2 copies, so we're at 9 1-drops or 1-mana plays. Knight of Malice is just a solid 2-drop. It's really good against any kind of white stealaways or Ixalan's bindings. Well, no one's going to use Ixalan binding on Knight of Malice, I don't think, or on a 2-drop. But just that kind of removal. It's also just solid with the first strike. This is a 2/2 first striker, potentially a 3/2 first striker. So I got 4 of those, and then I'm playing with 4 Burglar Rats. And the reason why I'm playing 4 Burglar Rats is because I've been seeing the Golgari mid-range decks playing 4 of these. Some, not all of the decks. We're still early in the meta, but I've been seeing people playing 4 copies of the Burglar Rats in their Golgari mid-range, and I thought, why not? Let's throw it in here. If we can recur it through Gruesome Menagerie, it's another card that they got to discard. So we got a lot of hand hate going on. Also, it's a 1/1 body that we can use for the next card, which is, well, I'll get into that later. It's actually, yeah, Playcrafter. But I'm going to be playing it with 2 Abnormal Endurances. I think it's just a solid combat trick, even though it's not that 1-mana 1 Supernatural Stamina from the previous rotation. I still think it's applicable because, yeah, it does come on the battlefield tapped. It is a weaker version of it, but I still think, with all the stuff that we got in here, there's a lot of good things that we can recur, Burglar Rats or, removal, maybe protecting a Midnight Reaper or something. Just a lot of I think it's just a good solid combat trick. We're not playing with a lot of removal because we're trying to build, well, the deck's idea is to have the removal built in. But anyways, yeah, I just think Abnormal Endurance, I'm going to play around with the FNM. I'm going to see how strong or weak it is. Two Isareths, I think it's just a solid card. The only problem with it is that you do need stuff in your graveyard for it to be useful, so you don't want to necessarily play this on curve. Unless you're chum blocking or something, but typically this is like an aggro deck. We're trying to curve out 1, 2, and 3. So this is something you want later in the game, but still, when it attacks, you may pay X, and essentially you can return a target creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a corpse counter on it, and if that card were to leave the battlefield, exile it instead. So we can recur a lot of cool things once it's in the graveyard. Again, it does exile it after that corpse token or card is destroyed, but still, like, this is something that, in the late game could potentially keep us in the game. We can recur things like Pilfering Imps or Burglar Rats, or even just like good solid troopers like the Knight of Malice, just to recur them and have a bigger presence on the battlefield. So we're just only going to play 2 copies of those, because I do think it suffers from diminishing returns, meaning if you have 2 or 3 of these on the you can't, it's a legendary creature, but if you're playing with like 3 of these, and you have 1 stuck in your hand, I don't know, I'm going to play with 2 and see how that works. I think it's a good number for right now. We're going to play with 3 Playcrafters. So, you cast turn 2 a Burglar Rat, they got to discard a card, and then all of a sudden, you sacrifice your Burglar Rat and they got to sacrifice their creature, or you make them discard another card. So I think it's just a really solid 3-drop. And yeah, we're going to play with 3 Playcrafters. It's kind of like a Ravenous Chupacabra in a sense, even though it's like a sacrifice effect, but still. It's just more solid removal built into the creature, and that's kind of what we're trying to do with the Gruesome Menagerie. So we're going to play with 3 Midnight Reapers. So this is a solid card to keep you in the game, because once you once you drop all of your creatures on the battlefield, once you start trading them, you want to get value out of it and keep on drawing, and that way you can keep on flooding the board. You have extra gas. I think it's just a good solid card. It combines really well with Pilfering Imp. You sacrifice it, and then all of a sudden you can get, another card draw out of it. Yeah, another non-creature, yeah. So we're going to play with 3 of those, and then we're going to play with 4 Dreadshades. And I think Dreadshade is the card, if you're going to be playing mono black, even in Control, or even in this kind of aggro style deck, I think it's just the solid, a solid, 3-drop that is automatically a threat. If, early in the game they're starting to burn removal on Knight of Malice, or, on your other 3-drops or something, then all of a sudden it paves the way for Dreadshade, and then all of a sudden you can just start plugging in for damage. They're not going to block a Dreadshade if they know you're going to pump it. You have open mana, and you have like 4 or 5 mana, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's hitting for 6 or 7 or 8. And, I'm not playing with Cabal Strongholds, but... Yeah, so I'm not playing with the Cabal Strongholds, but I still think that, just the ability to pump is still threatening enough, even without the Strongholds. And I'll get into the reason why I'm not playing with the Strongholds. I just think that, the Strongholds really shine later on in the game, and in this deck I think we really want to kind of, have such an advantage by turn 5 that the Strongholds really only shine beyond, like 6, 7, 8... turns. So I think we really want to at least establish that, we're the creature deck, we're the aggressive deck, and, I might be wrong about that, and maybe I do want to play with Cabal Strongholds, but I'm playing with 2 Memorial of the Follies instead. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that bad, because this is the only pump spell that I have. So I think the Cabal Strongholds is okay to omit, because I wouldn't be able to play with the Memorial of the Follies, because the Cabal Strongholds really only want you to play only swamps. So we'll see how it plays out. I think it'll be fine. I'm going to include 2 Ravenous Chupacabras just because it's solid removal and it's built into the creature, so we can recur with a thing like Isareth. So we do have to pump for 4 to recur a Ravenous Chupacabra, but I think, just to... balance out our curve, it's a 4-drop. Sure, it doesn't apply to Gruesome Menagerie, that's why we're only playing with 2, but I still think it's so, it's a 2-for-1, and also we can recur it with you know, 2 things, along with 2 Isareths, and also with the Liliana the Necromancer. So I think it's going to be a fine card, just to throw 2 of in here. And then, of course, the 3 Gruesome Menagerie. It's kind of the build around of the deck. We flood out 1, 2, 3. I mean, we curve out 1, 2, 3, and then, you know, we get board wipes. We hit them with the Gruesome Menagerie, and then hope for the best that we can keep on plugging in for damage. And the Liliana the Necromancer, I think it's just a good... it's kind of like the 4th copy of Gruesome Menagerie, in the sense that, you know, it can recur stuff. But I just think that this is a good, solid card. If you have, like, you know, a bunch of creatures on board, you can protect it, and then all of a sudden you can just start getting value out of it, plugging in for damage, or even trying to, you know, just use the -1 to recur things like Ravenous Chupacabra, or even things like, you know, maybe an Isareth, or like a Dreadshade or something, you know. I think Liliana the Necromancer, she proved really well when I went to a Standard Showdown with the mono black burn version with the devs, kind of the main staple of devs, you know, Strictly Better Magic's mono black burn deck. In that case, I was playing, since it was previous rotation, I was playing with things like, I think I had like, no, I didn't have Gaunties. I had the 2/1 Glint Sleeve Siphoners, and I had some other cards from the previous meta. So it was a little different build, but I do remember having a really great time using Liliana the Necromancer with Ravenous Chupacabras in that deck. So I'm going to keep her in here. Also, I just think there's a lot of good stuff that we can recur. So, and we have 2 Memorial to Follies, and the rest is just swamps. So yeah, that is the deck. Here is the sideboard. So my sideboard is pretty streamlined. It's 4 Duresses for the control matchup. This is a staple against control. 3 Kitesail Freebooters from the side, just so I can really ensure that, you know, I have the Pilfering Imps, I have the Duresses, and then I have the Kitesail Freebooters just to screw up their day. That's kind of the goal of mine with this strategy right here. I'm going to include 1 Raider's Wake. I just think, again, you know, we can screw them up. We have board dominance, we're giving them a bunch of hand hate, and then all of a sudden we attack, drop this down, and then all of a sudden they got to discard another card. Yeah, at the beginning of your step, yeah. So, 1 Eldest Reborn. This is a good card. It's just, it's too slow, and I do want to keep all the Gruesome Menageries in the deck. Against control, I think with this kind of deck, we really want to establish dominance early in the game and really put them on edge. And this right here is just a good one of to throw in. And, you know, I think instead of playing multiple copies of Eldest Reborn, I'm playing with the Playcrafters, so it kind of does the same with the Planeswalkers. The main thing is to fairies and other problematic Planeswalkers that we're probably going to see. You know, whoever rises to dominance, like the new Vraska Regal Queen. So we'll see how that pans out. I think it's just a good one of. And then against the tokens deck, we're going to have 3 Golden Demises. This is also good against mono red. And then we're going to have 3 Phyrexian Scriptures. This does double duty. It's going to do really well against the token strategy. You know, Selesnya tokens, they empty out their hand, they have a crazy board, we're chump block, we're just trying to survive. We take a bunch of damage from, you know, the Histobenalia effect or whatever, and then all of a sudden we plop this down. Hopefully we can last for another 2 turns, get that destroy all non-artifact creatures, and yeah, hopefully we have something on the board that we can put this on, because there's nothing worse than putting this, you know, making your opponent an artifact creature. It feels really bad. This is definitely something that you want to have 1 creature on the board with, but once that happens, it's, you know, they empty out their hand doing all their token shenanigans, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, they're empty-handed, we clear their board, and now we're hopefully drawing gas or something. Or, you know, maybe we have like the Midnight Reaper on the board, and then it kills all of our creatures. That's okay, we're getting a bunch of gas, because all of our non-token creatures will refill our hand, even though we're taking 1 damage each. That doesn't matter, we're just still... I just think it's going to do double duty. And the second thing that this card is for is also against graveyard decks. So Golgari decks, we get to exile all cards from opponent graveyard. It's kind of like playing with the totem, the Sentinel totem, but, you know, it's doing double duty. It's clearing the board, and then it's exiling all the creatures. So I think that's the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think that's the way I want to build my sideboard for right now. And I'm going to show you my sideboard. So it's like we have the sideboard, and then we have extra cards that we can, you know, substitute into the sideboard or even into the main deck. So I'll show you. This right here is just a, you know, a bunch of TCG player stuff or stuff that I open in packs. It's all black, mono black shenanigans. So here's my 4th copy of Vicious Conquistador. I had the Vampire Neonates from before, the Digraph Ghouls from my, you know, kind of like the aggro build that I was building with Dev's deck. Instead of the Vicious Conquistadors, I was using the Digraph Ghouls. Probably wasn't the best call, even though it does have, you know, better trading power if you're blocking, but I think the Vicious Conquistador is definitely the way to go if you want to build Dev's, you know, mono black budget burn. But I think, you know, that's a deck that's going to have to be readjusted to the meta because of all the new board clears. And here is, you know, 3 Deadweights, 2 Divest. I'm actually probably going to make a mono black control deck out of all this stuff because I have a bunch of extra cards, but, you know, this is still a bunch of stuff that I can throw into. These are from Magic League, which I'm loving Magic League right now, but I think this card is just, I think I want to play with Fungal Infection instead, so I can take out, you know, like Llanowar Elves or stuff where early in the game I could play it. This requires cards to be in your graveyard, even though it becomes exponentially stronger as the game goes on. I just think that, you know, the Fungal Infection is going to do work early in the game when we really need it, hopefully. That's kind of my mentality. The 4 Tattered Mummies, again, you'll see the remnants of the previous mono black burn deck. 4 cast downs, so I have a really good shell for a mono black control maybe, so I might build that. You know, 2 Walk Planks, 2 Mausoleum Secrets. So yeah, I'll probably build a mono black control. Another Plague Crafter. So yeah, that 1 extra Plague Crafter, an extra Midnight Reaper. Again, my 3 slots are pretty clogged up, and I'm playing with 4 Dreadshades. I think I'm playing with 12 3-drops, so I don't want to clog it up too much beyond 12, I think. I think this is the right call with the 2 Isareths, 3 Plaguecrafters, 3 Midnight Reapers, and 4 Dreadshades. So, yeah, maybe that's the right call, but, you know, these are in the sideboard. The Skymarch Bloodletters from the previous iteration of the Mono Black deck from, you know, just the Mono Black Burn. Murder. Oh yeah, and the Sword Point Diplomacies. I think this would have actually gone really well in the Mono Black Burn. But you know, I got 4 copies of that. We'll see how that pans out. Arterial Flows, a 3rd copy of Ravenous Chupacabra, Demon of Catastrophes. You know, 4 Fell Specters. Settle the Score. Actually, I think Fell Spectre would be stronger now with Burglar Rat, so maybe there's a hand hate deck out there. I don't know. Maybe like an 8-rack for standard. We'll see. So the Score. This was for the previous meta. I don't think Rekilling Phoenixes are going to be that much of a threat. You know, they're still out there, but yeah, I don't think it's sideboardable or... you know, like it's not like Hour of Glory where, you know, there's a bunch of god cards out there where you needed to exile them, a bunch of indestructible stuff. Liliana Spoils, this is just for, I think was for, you know, if I wanted to build a mono black control, that's why I put it in here. Extra copy of Raider's Wake. I got 4 Price of Fames in here, just because I really love the card. I opened 1 in a pack and I got 3 more from TCG Player. A lot of Lyra, Dawnbringers, Aurelias, stuff like that. An extra copy of Phyrexian Scriptures. The 4 Chainer's Torments from the Mono Black Burn. Really love this card, by the way, but probably the biggest problem is, you know, they know it's coming. It does a lot of damage to you, and then all of a sudden they can destroy that token or whatever, so that's the one main problem. But if you have the overall synergy of having a bunch of burn in your deck, I think it's still really, really good, because it puts a clock on them really quickly. 4 Vampire Sovereigns. Final Parting. Trying to make a combo deck with this card, with Mausoleum of Secrets. We'll see how that pans out. But, you know, you have a Gravitic Punch in the deck, you can throw that in the graveyard, and all of a sudden you have your Gravitic Punch in the graveyard, you tutor up that other card in your hand. I was trying to build something, well, I'm thinking of building something with Torgar, where, you know, that's the combo, you get Torgar from your deck, put Gravitic Punch in your graveyard, and then all of a sudden, you know, that's how you try and combo and try and kill them in 1 or 2 turns. Eldest Reborn, got 3 copies of those. Tetzimok, so you can see that there's you know, kind of a shell for mono black control in here. Probably need the Josu Vest, the 4/5, 4 mana mono black card where you can kick it and then all of a sudden you have like 8 Menace Zombie Knights or something like that, something crazy. So yeah, that is the Mono Black Menagerie deck, and yeah, just want to give you a quick video of what I'm going to be rocking for Week 3 FNM. I'm going to give you guys an update video, kind of a battle report of my the first 4 weeks of FNM results, because previously I was doing them like week by week. I just don't really, this is boring, you know. I kind of just want to compile it all in one video so you can see all the packs and see all my results all in one video. So yeah, that is Mono Black Menagerie Jank. There you go.